How we doing?
Good.
Good.
Coach, we want to make a quick opening comment?
Yeah,
Open
just
up for questions.
yeah, obviously getting ready here. The guys getting ready to go, and they're all kind of reporting in and getting their playbooks. I'm excited about where we're at, excited where we're going, and I'm looking forward to watching this team progress through fall camp and obviously into the season. So I'm excited to get it going. It's you don't get a lot of time with them, face to face. So we can actually get them back in the building and give them a hug and say hello and get ready to go. It's exciting. So I'm fired up. Good. Open up to any questions.
Just say your name and affiliation, just as a good reminder for Coach.
Mark Murphy, inside the Auburn Tigers and 24/7 Sports. Can you talk about the offensive line competition you're expecting in preseason?
Yeah.
It's pretty unusual to have so many guys with this much starting experience.
Yeah, so it'll be good. It's gonna be exciting, and I think that's probably obviously one of the most important pieces, obviously, to the offense and kind of the direction we're going is obviously the guys up front. And the great thing about it is yes, we had a lot of those guys out during spring and kind of some minor things, and just we wanted to kind of keep them fresh and get them healed up and ready for the season. But the positive of that is all the guys behind them, all those backups, those what you call 2s or 3s, they got invaluable reps. They got reps they never would have gotten if those guys weren't out. So getting those guys back healthy, having the 2s and 3s get that experience and getting those reps, and then kind of collectively putting that group together when they all come back, it's going to be exciting. I think it could really be a strong group for us up front, especially as they gain that chemistry and working together from game 1 to game 2 to game 6. And as the season goes on, it can be a lot of fun to watch.
Coach, Bill Cameron with the Drive on ESPN 106.7. Talk about receivers. You've got a lot more numbers now than you had in the spring. Just how long do you expect it to be before things start shaking out as far as depth chart?
Yeah, it's that'd be a group, like you said, there's a lot of new faces and a lot of turnover at that position. Over this last year, we have 5 new guys. And to me, that's exciting. I think if there's a position where you have the ability to get on the field early and do it, that's one that you can do. Because if you have the athletic ability and you can run, you can obviously learn the plays, and obviously you can catch the ball because you're playing receiver, that's going to put you in a position where, like O-line, you have to be physically ready. Receiver, you can kind of put them out there. So my point is I'm excited about their group. I'm excited about the guys that came back from last year. Obviously having my hand involved with those guys, I'm obviously very close with them, and then obviously the kids we brought in, recruiting them, being part of their lives, and kind of knowing their mental makeup and what they're all about. It's going to be really exciting to watch. Obviously the 3 freshmen, the 2 transfers coming in, collected from last year, with MJ and VAR and some of the guys that come back. I think we'll have to kind of be very smart through practice here and get the right combination of the guys in the right spots, and I think that could be a really competitive group for us as well.
Eric, Philip Marshall, Auburn 247 Sports. Your life has undergone some changes here the last couple of years. The move from where you were to here, how challenging has it been, the adjustment, and how different is it?
Are you referring to the job or living?
Well,
Both? Well, the job has been crazy. I will say that. But I think, doing this for, 23, 24 years, long time, you kind of just go with the flow, and it's kind of the ebb and flow of the business nowadays. I know it's kind of crazy a little bit, some of the events that happen, but you just kind of jump in and get going, and you embrace it. And I think if you're kind of ready for that, when the time arises and you jump in, I don't think it shouldn't be that much chaos in your life, I think, when that comes up. And then I'll piggyback on kind of what you mentioned earlier, living in the South and obviously being a West Coast guy, I absolutely, without question, no doubt about it, I love it down here. It took a little while to adjust, but now I'm into it. I kind of get the groove of it. I get the people. I like the vibe, and obviously college football is really important, which is important, but it's Auburn in the South is a really cool place to live, and I really enjoy it.
what was the biggest adjustment? You said it took some adjustment. What was the biggest adjustment?
And again, the job or living? The biggest adjustment, as crazy as it sounds, is I'm a West Coast guy from LA, and people don't say hello. They don't come over and when they're parking, their neighbors are parking the car, say, "Hey, John, how's it going?" They don't do that. They just walk right past you like it doesn't matter. Like people actually talk to you and have a conversation and say how you're doing, how's your day, and another thing. It's kind of an off story here, but another thing I noticed too is, I don't know if it's true or not, but when you go to restaurants in LA, you eat, they give you the bill, and you're out. Or here, they don't come back. You wait, and I've asked, I go, why do you do that? And they say, because I guess in the South, it's proper that after you eat, you enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, and you talk and hang out a little. I don't know if that's true, but But that's another thing I kind of grabbed on earlier. It's just a different vibe, and I really enjoy it. Really do.
Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247. Just for you, quarterbacks, what have you seen out of those guys from the spring to this point, and I guess what are you looking for out of this quarterback battle?
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'll tell you what, it's a good problem to have. Because the flip side is you could have one guy or a freshman, and you have to kind of, oh boy, I'll get this guy ready. Well, now you got 3, 4 guys that really have ability, and a couple of these guys have some experience. Obviously, one's got SEC experience, or 2 of them, excuse me. And so you have a good collection of groups. So it's going to be fun to kind of watch these guys compete through camp. And I've told them over the last couple of weeks that this competition it's not going to be come in day 1 and get in the groove, and then day 2 feel a little better, and then day 3 rolling. This competition is starting from practice number 1. From when we start day 1, you walk on that field, you are competing because camp is short. It's a week and a half, so we don't have time to kind of ease into it. So I said right from day 1 we're to go, and I am truly. I know some people say it's a problem or it's a big question mark. That's a good question mark, and obviously you'd like to have a 3-year starter, but we don't. But we have some really good talent, some really good kids that can play the position and have the ability to do it. So it's gonna be fun.
What have you seen from those guys picking up off of spring? I guess just the time you've had with them this summer.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just the overall knowledge of the offense and understanding. We always talk about every coach in America is going to tell you what to do and how to do it. Everyone. What kind of makes you elite, kind of gets you to the next level, is understanding the why. Why are things happening? Why am I doing this? Why is the defender doing this? And I think they're picking that up. They're now getting that grasp of, hey, I'm running this play to affect this safety, and this is why I'm going to go here with the ball. I think that's really important. That's where you kind of become a good player to a great player to elite players, understanding that just the complexity of what you're trying to do and why you're doing it. And I think they've all done a really good job. I really do. It's and again, they'll grow even more because again, they're still young. So we have all the transfers and TJ and all these guys, but they're still young. They still have to get some experience, which they will, and I'm excited to see.
Brian Stoltz, Auburn Sports Rivals. How much are you going to throw early on at Damari as far as plays and stuff like that?
We have to kind of find out early. You can't just throw him in. You really have to he has to kind of earn the right to be on the field, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I tell guys all the time, hey coach, I was this and that, and I was this in high school, and that's great, but when you get here, if I just put you out there because you're a really good player, but you don't know your plays, you're letting the other 100 guys on the team down, not just the offense, the whole team. So he's as he develops and learns the system and learns the plays and kind of get in there and earn that, he'll get his chance to play. Yeah, so I really can't tell you how it's going to happen. We're going to teach him the scheme and what we're doing. It's up to him to kind of produce and get out there and make plays.
Eric, Brian Matthews, Auburn Rivals. How important is Landon King going to be to your offense, and how many different ways do you think you can use him?
Yeah. The great thing about Landon is last year he was kind of a tweener. He was at tight end. We flirted with a little bit at receiver. I used him a little bit. He was kind of that limbo, not really knowing. I think now that he's kind of he's crossed that bridge, like, you know what? I'm doing this receiver thing. We'll be able to use him a lot in a variety of ways. We can create mismatches because he is so tall, so athletic. He can run. He's got good hands. We have got to be able to move him around and play, different spots to create those mismatches. Like I'll give you one. Like if we're in a game and they're going to put a nickel on a slot receiver, we'll insert him because he's bigger, faster, strong, can run, be physical on a smaller DB type body type, right? So you kind of to put those mismatches together and where they're on the field and put him in a position to be successful.
I have another question. Going off Philip's question, how more comfortable are you this season compared to last year as a coaching staff?
As a staff?
Yeah.
It's really good. I think we've grown a lot, 'cause especially on offense. Offense we only had Ike Hilliard's obviously the only new one. Everybody else is still the same, so the continuity is still there. And I will say, Ike has got so much experience at so many places. He stepped right in and picked up the offense, and so I think kind of keeping that continuity, kind of keeping that just that professional vibe and how we work and how we operate, kind of understand each other. It's really kind of moving forward, which is good.
Coach Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7. What's the significance of John Samuel Schenker deciding to come back for another year, and how do you plan to use such a deep group of tight ends?
Yeah, you love Shank's ability to really run around. He's so athletic. Obviously being a baseball player, a really good one. Obviously a really good football player as well. he has the athletic ability where he can run and he can create mismatches with linebackers like we talked about earlier at some other positions. But and he's so smart. He has that kind of professional mentality to him because he is older. So we'll be able to use him in a lot of different ways as well, because again, he's not your big, Y type. He's more that kind of offset tight end or an H tight end. So he's athletic and run, but he can also get in there and block too. So he's very versatile. We'll have to use him in the right spots.
Eric, we've heard a lot about Coy Moore this offseason, just from his guys, and Parcel talked about him a lot at media days. What was it for you in terms of y'all looking after him, going after him in the portal? What was it about his game that you guys wanted to bring in and thought could help the receiver room?
It was a need, really. It was a needed position, so that's the Porter has now provided for us. And I think he has that SEC experience, being in a program like he was at. And not that he played a lot. I mean, he did play, but not a lot of numbers. It's more about just how to prepare, how to practice, what it takes at this level to prepare week in and week out against the players we're playing against. He has that edge already. Like if you take a young freshman, it's going to take him a while to kind of adapt to that. Where Coy's already above the curve in that regard because he's already done it. So now it's just basically, get him to learn the offense, learn the scheme, and put him in the right spots, and then let him go play. But I'm excited about him because he does have that experience, and we need that experience in that group, and I think he'll provide that for us.
Shedrick Jackson, the guy that came on the end of the year last year, you kind of known him, got to know him more. How has he developed his game heading into his last year here?
It's just his second year through it. The system and just kind of knowing it. And I think really the big thing for Shed is he's really changed his body. If you see him out of practice tomorrow, the next day when you watch him, he's really kind of slimmed down. He's not that he was bigger before, but he's just fit. He's in shape. He looks really good. Like we have these conditioning things we do it, and he is it's almost effortless how he's doing. He's in really good shape. He's running well. Someone said he ran like a high 4.4 when they tested him. I don't know if that's true because you obviously got to play that fast, but I'm excited about him. He's done a lot of training in the offseason to get his body where it needs to be successful at this level. He's mentally there. He's definitely smart enough because I had him in the room. Now you got to put that combination together and see what he can do on Saturdays.